You've been using pressure mapping now for almost 3 years. You're a pioneer in using pressure mats for instruction. But really, what got your attention to this direction, and what were some of the focal points that you zeroed in on?
Common thing I heard many years growing up, I never understood, was the swing starts from the ground up. I've heard that my whole life, I never understood it. So when pressure mapping came out, we never had technology or data to really measure what the feet are doing, and I really didn't think it was that important. But when I remember I met you down at the merchandise show and you put me on the pressure map, I became very clear that understanding ground interaction, ground reaction forces, center of balance, that's very important. And then the more I used it, I understood what balance coordination, and to be perfectly honest with you, the BodiTrak actually taught me kinematic sequence. So not only it actually sort of tied together a lot of things I've heard, and then for the first time I actually understand the interaction of the ground. So when they say the swing starts from the ground up, I actually know what I'm talking about.
And that makes perfect sense to me. One of the things that really fascinates me about you is how you've been able to take some very complicated programs, such as the one that measures the Z-force, the horizontal force in the BodiTrak system, and convert that into a very simple application for your students. Now, you've probably had more positive feedback in the last 2.5 years since using pressure mapping than any other golf pro I've ever talked to. So can you please explain to me how this has benefited your students?
So when I first got the BodiTrak, there was more research than teaching. And my journey was, I put a lot of very good players, tour caliber players, mini tour players, college players, and there were certain themes that happen that all good players do. There are ranges, but there are certain elements about their swing that were consistently obvious, and the worse the player, the worse those certain areas were off. So the COP trace, the peak velocities, the timing of max and minimum pressure, and once I sort of got that information, then put that in my teaching and start coming up with drills on how to do it, the golf swing became more of a motion than a position. And in 1.3 seconds, what are you thinking? So if the motion gets better, the swing's more efficient, I think you got yourself a home run.
Now one final question, Mark. I know that it's difficult because you're at an elite golf course such as Marion, but you've been very open with your colleagues that if they wanted to be able to come here and work with you and observe how you instruct, you would find out if the student would allow that to happen. And usually in most cases you can allow that to take place.
I have an open door policy. I'm a big believer in, growing up, I would go watch everyone teach. And now that I have a BodiTrak and I have a lot of information, anyone is more than welcome to come in here and ask me questions, watch what I do with the BodiTrak. I think the whole key is to help each other out and learn more.
And how can they reach you?
They can reach me, go to my website, markshefticgolf.com. My cell phone, my email is in there, and feel free to call me.
Mark, great pleasure. Thank you very much for using BodiTrak.
Thanks, Derek.